I'm excited because I see the speed of iteration going through the roof. Uh, the last 20 years of human existence has been just tremendous. Like, no one could have predicted the changes that we've seen with the internet and with software affecting every part of our lives. But I don't see this slowing down. We keep releasing genies from various bottles, and we can't put any of them back in. So I'm choosing to be optimistic about it and think of all the positive things we could do with this technology. And the only way to drive it towards a good end is to lean into it, I think. We can't let it go undirected. Let's drive the ship.
Number one, let me just say thanks to the LFG team for allowing and creating this beautiful podcast studio that we are in, all the equipment. So shout out to LFG Pod. Follow them on Instagram, follow them on any social media platform, and hopefully they can you can partner with them and bring this beautiful facility to your facility. Okay. So I usually start the podcast with one question, and from there we really jump into it. So the question is, tell us about yourself.
I'm Joseph Nix. I am the CEO and co-founder of a company called CAD as Code. And just as in the name, as you might guess, we enable you to write CAD models as code. And we pride ourselves in being able to create a very usable API for doing that. I've got a career in software development. I know how to write a good API. And that is absolutely critical here. It's not just that you can code it, it's that we intentionally made it as powerful a language as possible. So that's that.
Okay.
Now back so, to like who I
love that. That's good. So you were about to say where you were from.
Yeah. Well, I was born in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I grew up in Indiana. I'm a Hoosier. In northern Indiana, and a Catholic, so I always watched Notre Dame growing up. They're still my favorite college team. But
we just lost a lot of viewers right now.
Yep. No, I got to filter them out early, right?
That's right. I'm just kidding.
So two personality traits I think I have that really define my career are, one, I love abstractions and I think in abstractions an awful lot. And two, I love understanding rules and where they have cracks. For me, that manifested in science. I absolutely love science. I love space in particular. For as long as I can remember, I was 4 years old. I wanted to be an astrophysicist when I grew up.
What?
Yep.
Was your family involved in that at all?
I mean, they encouraged it or let it happen.
Right.
They would.
I mean, was your dad an astronaut?
No.
I mean, it was that way. Was your dad a scientist, mom a scientist?
No, I just, as a young child, I looked up and I was amazed at the beauty that I saw. And because I have this mind for understanding rules and abstractions, to me, I wanted to understand that beauty. I wanted to know what caused it, mm-hmm. how it works, what the extents, what the limits of our knowledge of how it works are. So for me, that meant physics. Understand the rules of the game. Of what world are we really living in? How does it actually work? What can we do within the constraints of those rules? And growing up, playing board games and all sorts of games fit right into that.
Yeah.
And I think
were you a Dungeons and Dragons kind of guy?
I played a little bit of that in college, actually, but not growing up.
Not growing up.
But I'd like to think people enjoyed playing games with me because I would push the rules all the time.
My kind of guy, like that.
I would love changing the rules and be transparent about it, but very playful. So I love engaging in a game and getting the other person to want to change the rules and experiment. You went to high school in Indiana? That's right.
Okay. And then from Indiana, Where did you go to school after that?
The University of Alabama in Huntsville.
All right.
And for those who are familiar with the school, it needs no explanation, given what I just said. But I went there to study astrophysics in particular. Huntsville is where the space program was born in the U.S.
Werner von Braun.
That's right.
That's right.
And they had an excellent physics department.
Yeah.
And
shout out to Huntsville High School, my crew out there. I love Huntsville. It's a second home. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good town. I like it.
They have the most per capita, I don't know, just like PhDs, you can throw a rock and boom, you hit one.
I've never like sat down to verify that, but I hear that or something very similar a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That in Silicon Valley and maybe Boston.
Right, right. It's a smart town.
Yeah, it is.
Very smart town from its.
And it's also coming from Indiana. It's a pretty good cultural fit for me too. It's pretty laid back.
Yeah, the Southern welcome.
Didn't take itself too seriously.
Yeah.
Very polite.
Okay, so you were there. You studied.
Yes.
Not an easy academic endeavor. And then what happened after that?
Well, I guess actually kind of currently with it, by luck, or fortune or providence, however you want to put it.
Right.
I made some really cool friends there, and one guy who you'll interview later happened to be my roommate, and together we invented a rocket engine for fun because that's what you do.
Did the school choose, or you guys chose each other?
No, it was. We didn't choose each other. We had actually, I think, met at an orientation months ago, but I didn't know enough about him to
Very cool.
try to choose a roommate. It was just chance.
By chance. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So you guys are there, you're studying, you say, hey, let's make a rocket.
Yeah, he actually, I'll give him total credit. He came up with the original idea and bounced it off of me, and then we worked together on it after that. So he had the creative spark for the initial idea. But it was quite a fun one. And for at least a semester, I neglected a lot of my grades, my academic studies, so I could also study this other thing on the side and develop that. So
there's a reason why it's called Rocket City, USA.
Yeah.
I think it is. But it's known for being that type of culture. So I don't think anybody would have like gotten mad at you. It's like, hey, I stopped studying. I started building rockets.
Except maybe a professor or two that I didn't give them enough attention.
Right.
Some professors were annoyed at that. Some others weren't.
So you finished school, then what?
Well, we actually, before I finished school, we moved. We moved to about an hour outside of Chicago. We had some connections with Northern Illinois University, and we had hope that that school could help us do research on the rocket that we invented. They did their best to connect us to various institutions in the area like Fermilab and Argonne, and give us a little bit of a laboratory of our own. They helped us file for patents. And that was all actually before I graduated. And it was pretty funny because I was still a student at the time, but I like doing hard things and jumping right into the matter. So at UAH, when I was a freshman, I took all the most advanced classes I could until I was done and I had no more left. Then I transferred to NIU as a senior to take all of my freshman level classes.
Whoa.
So I didn't have very much else actually in my major to study at NIU. So I actually transferred those credits back to UAH to formally graduate there. And that's where I did all of my major work anyway. So an odd way of doing things.
Okay, so you graduated, then where did you go?
Then we stayed in that area in DeKalb and Sycamore, Illinois for several years. We decided to get into software.
You and your roommate.
And my roommate
right.
and
Michael, right?
Michael, and then another roommate, Chris, actually from UH as well. He was my roommate after Michael. He jumped in on all of this too. He also was an astrophysics student. So we stayed in Illinois for a while, and we realized very quickly that rocket science is very expensive and we needed help. I mean, we already knew that. That's why we were there. But we still didn't have enough help and enough money to do anything about it. So we looked at the world, and the world said that you can make some money in software and divert some of that into rocket science. This was 2010 or thereabouts. And even then, people were obviously doing that. We had Elon Musk starting to do his thing. We had Paul Allen and Richard Branson, Jeff Bezos, lots of people making good money in software and then reusing some of it to get to space. So that seemed to be the thing to do. So we dove in. I was not good at software at the time, but we said, okay, that's the path. Let's do it. So we dove headlong in. We started a software consulting company. Eventually we got good, but we didn't start off that way. And we always had in mind that in order to make enough money, we needed to make a product, but we weren't terribly skilled at software early on, so we had to get good. But that's where we started. And after a few years, we decided to move because an hour outside of Chicago wasn't the best environment for a software company. So we looked at the country and decided Austin was the place to be. So we moved here, sight unseen.
Wow.
Again, this is a
What year
theme
was
in
this?
our life.
Yeah, that's right.
As
You guys are all in.
Make decisions, then we go for it. This was in late 2013.
2013, okay.
So I've been here for 13 years now.
You haven't left.
Almost 13 years, 12 and a half. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, Austin, what seemed to be a pretty good choice. And in retrospect, I'm still pretty happy with it. There's a lot of good things about this town.
That's great. So you had a consultancy. You moved here to Austin.
Yep. Grew that consultancy. Did work for our clients. They would hire us to do things, but they were all different. And this was good for me because I got to experience many different subfields within software. I had to be good at everything that I was doing, and I did an awful lot of very different things. So I think that has helped well position me now to do what we're doing because I understand more than one little part about software. I understand infrastructure as code, web development, app development, data science, machine learning. I understand the actual consulting part of it and how to run teams and organizations. I understand how to do technical due diligence for higher level business analyses. So we got a lot of experience under our belt that was all very, very useful. I'm going to make it useful. Try to not waste the opportunities we've been given.
So how did you get to what you're doing now, which is CAD as code? Like, what problem were you seeing in this space?
Well, for me, it mostly started with that rocket engine.
Okay.
Michael's got earlier experience with CAD, but I didn't. I was studying science. So I did a lot of engineering things, making stuff growing up with my dad in particular. He moonlighted as a handyman for a while. I'd always follow him along building things.
Yeah, get your hands dirty.
Right. But I didn't study engineering in school, so I didn't have CAD experience. But to pursue the rocket engine, we wanted to make a 3D model of it, a CAD model, so we could show people what we're talking about. Michael ended up always having to do that because he had the tolerance for it, I suppose. Every time I tried to learn how to do CAD for the next several years up until, I don't know, 2020 or something, I always gave up. It was so frustrating.
He has the patience.
He had the patience, and I think he's also got a little bit more of a visual mind too. He's very tactile with things, but that's not my learning style. Again, I like thinking in abstractions.
Sure.
So for me in particular, I would have stuck with it if I had the ability to code CAD, but I didn't. So every time I tried to learn a different CAD tool, it was this arcane UI that was always different from the last one that I tried messing with.
So the barrier to entry,
menus and buttons, that's not me.
Yeah. You knew that. It sounds like you knew the importance of the software, the outputs,
right?
But
I could see
to get your hands involved in that was very difficult.
Yeah, it was hugely difficult because I like to thinking in abstractions, I like to know the output of what I'm driving for. And I'm always that kind of goal oriented. But it just felt like I was getting bogged down in mire so much, just stuck in mud working with a UI of a million buttons, not really accomplishing much of anything, seeming to not have any real productivity.
Right, output. So, okay, where did the idea come from? Was it one night? Like, I want to hear the story.
It was, again, I think Michael started the conversation. He understood the power of integrating things like we were talking about. He understood that CAD needed to be integrated with a great many things and that a lot of things could be automated. And then I responded to his sentiments by thinking about what actually could be done. How do you automate it? How can you expose the power of CAD? And I ended up thinking of the particular kind of way that we enable writing CAD now. So we took a lot of lessons from something called infrastructure as code, which is how you write configuration to control complicated things like AWS, large stacks on the hyperscalers. The actual code you write to set all those things up doesn't look very complicated. If you don't know what you're looking at and you just look at the code, it looks like some data. It's not nearly as hard to parse syntactically as Python or JavaScript or something like that. Python's even like on the easy end. It's meant to be easy to pick up by people who are not programmers. And that was the big lesson. Making a CAD model or making any physical device can be represented as a bunch of instructions. What do you do to make it? What are the steps you undergo to make it? So if you simply write down those steps, you can represent something that's fairly complicated, the end thing you're trying to build, with a very simple set of steps. And you can represent it exactly like infrastructure as code. So we lifted the exact same syntax from there, a YAML, which is a data language, and Jinja, which is a templating language. It's perfect. It's battle tested. About 20 million people know that exact combination or something that looks identical to it.
So I don't mean to stop you because this is fascinating. I'm with you, but for our listeners, it might have the glaze might have gone over their eyes in a way. So
a little deep there.
What is CAD? Let's just start there. I think it's important, right?
CAD is the replacement for a blueprint.
Okay, so what does CAD stand for?
It stands for Computer Aided Design. It's an acronym coined in the 1950s. That's how early humanity realized they needed this.
Okay.
Before that, everybody had blueprints. They would literally draft with rulers and pencil or pen.
Yeah, those big drafting tables in a way, right? You're seeing them everywhere.
So CAD was conceived of as the replacement or the next thing that we could do with the advent of computers. And again, the 50s, right? Computers were not like they are now in the 50s.
Where you're taking up a department store. I mean, that was one computer that now your calculator, that's an app on your phone, right?
Right. You're absolutely right. And making a CAD model didn't look at all in the 60s as it ended up being in the 80s. The 80s, I think, is really when CAD came into its own. There was the invention of what's called parametric CAD, which is variables. It's using variables to describe your CAD. And it was a huge turning point. This is still pre-internet, by the way, in the late 80s. Pro-E was the CAD tool that came out that enabled this. But from my perspective as a software engineer, CAD didn't really evolve very much since then.
So who would use CAD, right? So you wouldn't use it at your house. Maybe you would, but I mean, like, who were the predominant user base of the CAD?
I think early on, aerospace and defense was probably the most prominent user base. Mm-hmm. But really, everybody that needs to make something physical can and often does use CAD. Today, it's the basis for all our whole physical world. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe this table wasn't made with CAD, but I wouldn't be surprised. all the devices on the table were absolutely made with CAD first.
That's these microphones.
Yeah, the microphones, these stands,
The stands, your car, right?
laptops,
The laptop, all on
this
CAD.
can probably made in CAD, maybe not. Yeah, it's everywhere. And now that we're coming into an age of simulation and digital twins and world models and AI, it's required everywhere. You need to be able to simulate the world, and CAD is part of it's a necessary tool in order to do that as a first approximation. But then we need to iterate on all of these CAD models, because if we're not just building this and then calling it a day, we need to test it, use it, change it, and evolve it, and make something new and something better tomorrow.
So this has really been dormant, or I'm trying to think of.
Yeah, it's been a long time cooking.
Yeah, or not even that. It's just it hasn't leveled up because it probably wasn't owned by anybody per se. It was just out there in the ecosystem. It was almost like a hammer, right? When was the next evolution of a hammer
Right.
that's occurred? I mean, a hammer's a hammer. So what? Why now? Why do we? Is it the knowledge gap of just using it, or is it the interoperability?
There's a lot to the why now question. There's several reasons why now. One is that CAD has been a fairly stagnant industry for a long time.
Stagnant, that was the word I was looking for.
Yeah, so in my view, in a lot of people's view, I'm not alone here at all. A lot of people think that CAD really hasn't evolved very much since the late 80s, which is astounding, right? What other industry can you say that about? And I know some people would argue differently, but I think the small changes that have happened haven't amounted to a ton. So a lot of CAD engineers and designers that I talk to, real engineers, the people making this stuff, are very frustrated with this. Sometimes they can't articulate why. They know that they have a lot of pain in their workflow until we tell them what the solutions are, and then most of them are ecstatic to hear about it. They say, "I've wanted this for 7 years," or "finally," or
since the
"this
80s.
is the biggest thing since the 80s."
Wow.
So that's what I want. We're getting endless validation that people need this. They're hungry for the industry to finally evolve a little bit.
I think number one, it's probably the right time as well, because the launch of AI, and I was just at a conference earlier, about an hour ago, and I did a survey of the room, and I said, who here uses AI as part of their daily life? Every single person raised their hand. And so when we talk about this in a personal way, the power of this at your fingertips on your phone, why isn't this being done in my job?
Right.
Right. Like, what is that next level up opportunity to apply that? I mean, we were talking earlier about Blender, a disparate system that does the visual graphics. And now watching a YouTube video, you can incorporate Claude to help you design in Blender. So these things are and it ultimately comes down to storytelling, right? I think that that's what I'm using this system for, is to be able to tell a good story about a company like you and others and visualize that story, to your point. Activating all the other sensories that you have.
Everybody's a storyteller, and everybody is a salesman, right? The engineer who's making this needs to communicate to everybody else they want to use it and actually build it, what it looks like, what it's for, what its positives and limitations are. And then he needs to actually sell the idea to everybody so that he still has a job, right? He doesn't want to just design this thing in his head and put it in other people's heads so they can smile and nod. They want to actually build it, use it.
So one of the fascinating things that I liked, and when you were demoing this for me, was that as you're designing, you get to validate this design with, it's almost the verification validation simultaneously as you're coding. It's almost like a rendering, right? You hit the render button and all of a sudden you'll find out if this in fact meets the need.
It's about fast feedback.
Fast feedback. Yeah, that's a great way of putting it.
Because We humans can integrate many things in our head, but we need the things that we're working with to give us a response back. If something is too slow, it might as well be not there at all. It might as well be useless. So we need fast feedback from our tools, and we need to issue commands to them. We need to be able to use them in whatever way we're trying to quickly as well. Both directions have to be quick. So for us, CAD as code, we're trying to make it very easy to automate the use of other tools within our platform, and also get responses back from those in an automated fashion so that we can have closed loops of automation in our iteration. Then that's what AIs are doing a lot for people right now, right? They're not. A lot of people aren't using an AI to do something that was fundamentally impossible before,
right,
or that they really couldn't do. It's speeding things up. It's allowing a human to decide what to do and then execute on it far more quickly than they could 2 years ago. So we're doing that too. I think it's funny even, that we decided to do CAD as code before the AI was as it is now. Because to us, the human in the loop is a critical part of all of this. So we're trying to make it easy for the human to understand the CAD models. But if you maximize that, you have an excellent fallout of designing something that AIs are also superb at working with. I've said it many times to other people. AIs have trouble understanding 3D models and giant raw dumps of data. Some people don't know this, but it's absolutely true. The larger the data set is, the more exact it needs to be, the harder the AI has a time of dealing with it. But what are AIs actually good at? They're good at abstractions. They're good at expressivity and approximations. All these things mean they're good at code. So if we're trying to design a programming language that's easiest for a human to use, it's also easiest for the AI to use. And that's one thing that's setting us apart from everybody else in the CAD world that's trying to do AI things. They've been trying for a few years, and they are getting better, to be clear. But they still don't have what we have. They're not making it as easy as it could possibly be for an AI to actually use their tools.
It's difficult. I have to tell you, just with, again, back to the YouTube videos and taking a picture and getting the rendering, even though I had the power of an AI platform against that, it got it wrong.
Yeah.
So number one, the human in the loop is important.
Absolutely.
Right. And two, it did take some time, and you want to at least have CAD as code as a platform that is already looking at ingesting this data and understanding the output for production.
Right.
This is seriousness. This isn't just
absolutely
storytelling. I mean, we're talking about building an airplane where lives are on the line. And so you want a platform like yours that's all it focuses on.
And that's one beautiful thing about CAD as code, I think, too, is not only are we maximizing how good the AI is at CAD, but fundamentally we're distilling out of this an actual CAD model that can be tested and verified.
Absolutely.
So it's not like we're writing a novel and you have to have a human subjectively read the whole thing and see if some of the sentences make sense. This is totally testable.
Subjectively, it is important, or subjectively, it is not important?
Subjectively, CAD as code is important?
What you just said, the importance of testing.
Yes.
It is not a subjective topic.
Right. That's right.
Testing is
absolutely not subjective.
Right. That's I think that's the distinction of what
right.
What you're saying is that the subjectivity needs to be removed from this important development. When you're talking about, when you say CAD, that levels it up.
Yeah. And the layman world sees a lot of subjective uses of AI, And there's lots of AI slop out there, and people write off AI because of it. But that's not the exciting part. That's not the world where AI can really shine. Where it can really shine is in producing something that's testable and concrete.
And that's where you guys are trying to make a mark. Is this has been nascent, quiet, and bringing forward with the possibilities of time, effort, output, and that's
it's really exciting.
Yeah, I think
I'm excited because I see the speed of iteration going through the roof. The last 20 years of human existence has been just tremendous. Like, no one could have predicted the changes that we've seen with the internet and with software affecting every part of our lives. But I don't see this slowing down. We keep releasing genies from various bottles, and we can't put any of them back in. So I'm choosing to be optimistic about it and think of all the positive things we could do with this technology. And the only way to drive it towards a good end is to lean into it, I think. We can't let it go undirected. Let's drive the ship.
What problems are you seeing with the community in adopting what you've designed?
One is a little bit of fear, a natural human fear of change, right? I mean, this is a
fight or flight.
This is a fairly stagnant industry. People have experienced the same tools for decades with little change. And a lot of people, and especially younger people, are excited about that change. They want to dive in, but not everybody. And I've met some people even that I think I'm challenging their worldview, saying that these things could be better and could change. They say like, oh, you're sure, yeah, you've got these big dreams of being able to design an F1 car or a fighter jet or whatever. So are you thinking of goals like that? And yes, actually, and we've talked to people who do build those things about using CAD as code. There's no reason to think that this technology couldn't be mature. These people, I can't put my finger quite on exactly why they're scared sometimes, but everybody has a natural fear of something. Maybe it's their job. Maybe they know the industry that they're in would be majorly disrupted, and that's scary. And I get that it can be.
I don't think it is from what I know of the platform, right? I will tell you, and it goes back to, I was in an international space talking to a doctor, an ER doctor, who's working on an AI-driven company. And he said, look, AI won't replace doctors. It's the doctors that are using AI.
Sure.
That will replace those doctors.
At least as a first step.
Yeah, until you gain confidence in it, right? But hopefully there'll be new industries that emerge from this that will really maybe be the offset of it. Like the rollout of the internet. You made mention of that earlier.
I don't think
we thought things were going to be shut down, but new jobs were created.
Exactly. I'm not personally worried or saying that AI is going to directly put people out of jobs, but the world changes. Mm-hmm. Technology is changing at faster and faster pace, and there will be some pain associated with that change for somebody, a lot of people potentially. So I'm clear-eyed about that. But my personal stance is, again, the way to direct it is to lean into it and actually actively drive the ship as best as you can. Don't just let the world happen to you.
Right. But at the end, this is a software. Software is not, I'm sending out CDs and you download it. I mean, that's the past. It's more of, hey, this can be downloaded and implemented. So it is scalable into all of the ecosystems out there. So that you could immediately have an enterprise level effect.
Yes.
Day one.
I I think we can.
Day one, and be able to see a great business model come from this. So,
and I would encourage companies to look at that optimistically and say, oh, well, how can I get in on that change?
Investors too. I mean, look, you're about to roll this out. You're gaining a lot of great momentum, a lot of interest from the community in multiple different industries. I think you said something like, F1, talk to them. Somebody else, we've talked to them. So there is interest.
Yeah, race cars, jet engines, the people who make this bottle, containers. CAD is everywhere. It's amazing to me how many people are kind of unaware of just how big that industry is and how pervasive it is. It underpins everything.
I couldn't agree more. I was very excited when I first saw what you guys were working on. The possibilities are going to meet an immediate effect, and really those utilizing are going to gain speed.
Yes.
And the verification and validation to know that once you do go to market or you do hit print in this way or manufacture button, that all of that testing and validation has been modeled. And so it's just a verification after that. So you will gain speed.
Yes. And I want to enable that for everybody else. That's one theme here, is that the world's changing and at an accelerating pace. And I don't see that slowing down anytime soon.
No, I think it's the right time too.
And we can make it a good thing.
It should be a good thing, especially when you talk about at least the priorities right now of the United States, Texas in particular, is this manufacturing base, right? We need to be able to turn the machines back on, and what we produce should not be the same old thing. It should be the next better version of potentially, or create something new in that way. So I'm super excited about where you're at right now as a company.
Yeah.
To your point, there are others out there, but I don't think that they're touching even remotely the focused of drive of where you're headed.
I'm always excited to think about human creativity, and that's the core of our being. We're naturally creative creatures. We like to think, we like to experiment and push boundaries, and I chuckle sometimes when I think of people that can't see that or are unaware of it. There's a Roman general in 1 AD who was convinced that there would be no more inventions. Everything that had been invented was
up to that point was done.
That point was it. I can't remember quite the exact quote, but that's why I'm drawn into science and in board games. Finding out the rules of the game allow you to be creative in the cracks. And it's fun.
So you feel like you're having fun. I think, we're talking about the power of what you've developed having off-planet effects. That's super cool.
Yes.
That's kind of neat. And the adoption of that. Look, this has been great. One, getting to know you, understanding you have the horsepower and knowledge in order to be here and creating this. So you've encountered the frustrations of this, being in the labs. You and Michael, we're going to have Michael on the podcast as well. He's another great human, extremely intelligent, and the two of you guys are just a superpower together, in your whole team, quite frankly.
Yes.
And you're building it here in Texas too, which is even better. I love that. All right. So where is CAD as code today? And where are you guys going?
Today, we are approaching our launch, our public launch, where people can sign up on their own to go and test drive the system, go and play around and use it for real. To date, we've only had private customer experiences, and they've gone really well, but I'm so excited about unveiling this for the world so that people can really see what we've got.
How do they get to that? Is it on your website, or they text you?
It will be on our website. When it is launched, there'll be a normal traditional SaaS sign up, and it'll be a web user experience. So people can log into their account and experience it in the browser. It'll be running on our servers so that we can ensure a good experience and we give people reasonable power. CAD software is not super lightweight. So
when is that going to happen? Do you have a spoiler alert, like on a date yet?
It's coming soon.
Okay, all right. So
I don't have a particular date.
Yeah, QBranch or CAD is Code website or LinkedIn page.
But we're itching to push the button to make it go live.
Okay.
And as far that's a product, and that's super exciting. But jointly with that, concurrent with it, has to be we're trying to raise as much support as we can. We need supporters to encourage the people around them to go and use this, to try it out, to experiment and push its boundaries. One big difference between CAD as Code and every other halfway similar system is that we're deliberately trying to give people an environment with no handcuffs. We take the reins off of our users, so we're not giving people handicapped environments. They can go and install anything. They can run anything. It doesn't even have to be CAD at all. They can put anything they want in our system and run it jointly with their CAD. So I'm really excited to see what people do with that.
What's holding you guys back right now? Are you raising capital? Are you hiring talent? Like, what do you need help with?
I wouldn't say we are terribly held back, but we are raising capital, and that will certainly help things. So if you are a potential investor, reach out to us. You can find me on LinkedIn or on our website. There's a contact us email address that we do really watch.
We'll put that in our bio here.
Capital could be so effective in expanding our presence in the market. And we can use it extremely efficiently. One great thing about CAD as Code is because we're trying to make many integrations, all of that work can be parallelized too, which is not something almost anybody else can say. So my goal is to raise enough capital to take advantage of that and storm the market.
So it gives you this compounding effect. So
absolutely,
you're moving towards a launch, which is great. So it's really everybody before you launch the button should give you a call to see if there's an opportunity to help you either compound that effect or just be a good champion from within. The last thing I ask everyone on the podcast is a call sign. So if you had to give yourself a call sign so that everyone really knows and it resonates more of maybe your personality or where you're headed, what would that call sign be?
Snoopy.
So, okay. All right. Now we need to know. Snoopy. Say more.
Yeah, it's just the Peanuts character.
I know who Snoopy is, yeah. At least for some of the younger listeners, they don't.
But I think Snoopy and I share a lot of personality traits. A little trouble thinking of what my call sign should be, but that's what I landed on because we're very imaginative. We're playful. We like to bend rules, find the rules and then bend them. And if you're familiar with the comic strip at all, you know, often he's just laying on the top of his doghouse. Dreaming and looking up at the sky, right?
Right when you said that, right when you said Snoopy, my most vivid memory of that cartoon character was him wearing aviator goggles, that old leather hat.
Yeah, as a pilot.
Flying his doghouse.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Like, who would think that the doghouse could fly?
And he'd dream of facing off against the Red Baron.
Right, that's right. That's exactly right.
So there's a Christmas Snoopy Red Baron song that I listened to growing up most Christmases. And in my backyard growing up, we had this fort my dad built. And it had a, 10-foot peak, something like that in the center where there's this cross beam. And all growing up and even like through college, I'd come home sometimes and just lay on my back on that cross beam, 10 feet up, perched, looking at the sky.
Well, I think the sky's the limit for you and what you guys have created. And I'm excited for everyone to kind of go to your websites, get a demonstration of call them up, have them demo the product, and immediately you'll see the possibilities. I like it. You guys have designed something that it will change the world. It's not if, it will. It absolutely will.
One thing I forgot to mention, which I think fits into my history and who I am, is that I'm a musician. I played the French horn originally. I picked that up in 5th grade, and I did it specifically because I heard it was hard. So that was the instrument that I chose, and it is. Then I picked up other brass instruments and the trumpet, notably, and I played all the time through high school. And I want to mention all of this because it was invaluable for me, because I'm not naturally comfortable in the limelight. So this was a creative outlet for me. It let me explore rules and breaking rules, especially with jazz. But it also forced me onto a stage, which was never comfortable. So
You
it was
have a
an
good stage
exercise.
presence. I've seen
Thank
you
you.
pitch. It's good.
So for me, this playing music was also an occasional act of bravery, which I appreciate.
Love that.
Because I want to grow. And I tell my kids a lot, too, when they're scared of something. It's okay to be scared, but be brave, right? It's not impressive to not be scared of something. It's impressive to face it.
Thanks for coming. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.